Hey everybody, Stephanie here with the Machine Gun Nest with today's legal update. So today we're going to be talking about David Chipman and his nomination for ATF director. If you haven't heard about him, he worked for the ATF for approximately 25 years and then after that went on to start a career as an anti-gun activist. In his most recent confirmation hearing, Senator Tom Cotton of Arkansas and Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana pressed Chipman to define what is an assault rifle.
You have called for an assault weapons ban. I have a simple question for you. What is an assault weapon?
Senator, an assault weapon would be, in the context of the question you asked, what Congress defines it as.
So you're asking us to ban assault weapons. We have to write legislation. Can you tell me what is an assault weapon? How would you define it if you were the head of the ATF? How have you defined it over the last several years as your role as a gun control advocate?
Senator, if I'm confirmed as ATF director, my recollection is the only process by which ATF has weighed in is that I know there's a Demand Letter 3 program, which requires multiple reports, multiple sale reports on the southwestern border. And ATF in that program has defined an assault rifle as any semi-automatic rifle capable of accepting a detachable magazine above the caliber of .22, which would include a .223, which is, largely the AR-15 round.
I'm amazed that might be the definition of assault weapon. That would basically cover every single modern sporting rifle in America today.
Chipman continually dodged the question and then gave a terrifyingly ambiguous answer, defining an assault rifle as any semi-automatic rifle chambered larger than .22 that accepts a detachable magazine. So that means yes, he is coming after your AR-15. Chipman is very clear on his anti-gun stance and is a wholly inappropriate choice to be leading the ATF.
Let me put it this way. If I wanted to buy an assault weapon and I walked into Walmart or Cabela's or some other firearm dealers and I looked up on the wall where they were labeling their weapons, would there be a label on the wall for assault weapon? Well, so I've been in Walmart's and I've been in Cabela's and I've seen that you can find sections for pistols or handguns or for shotguns or for rifles, because those are actual kinds of firearms. I think our exchange here illustrates that there really is no such thing as an assault weapon. That is a term that was manufactured by liberal lawyers and pollsters in Washington to try to scare the American people into believing that the government should confiscate weapons that are wildly popular for millions of Americans to defend themselves and their families and their homes.
As Senator Cotton correctly pointed out, there is no such category as assault rifle. As he said, if you were to walk into a gun shop, such as here at the Machine Gun Nest, Walmart, Cabela's, you will never see anything on the wall titled pistol, handgun, and then assault rifle. This is a non-existent category of firearms that has been invented to strike fear in the hearts of those who are unfamiliar with firearms. The AR in AR-15 is not short for assault rifle. It actually stands for Armalite. Armalite is the company who created that design decades ago. An AR-15 is a semi-automatic rifle, meaning that it releases one bullet per trigger pull. The wooden hunting rifle that is arbitrarily well received amongst those who don't understand firearms functions the exact same way. It releases one bullet per trigger pull. The only difference is an AR-15 is black, typically is made of more plastic, and allows for some cosmetic changes. You can attach a flashlight to an AR-15. If you don't want to hold it this way, you can attach a vertical foregrip and hold it this way. But it does not change the function of the firearm. So all of us within the Second Amendment community and all of us who are firearms owners know that this is an arbitrary, made-up attempt to grab our guns. Biden's nomination of David Chipman for ATF director is a clear attack on our Second Amendment rights. So here's what you can do about it. 1, contact your senators. Tell them you oppose David Chipman as ATF director. And 2, the reason these things happen is that many who are unfamiliar with firearms are easily swayed by misinformation. If you are familiar with firearms in any capacity, please share your knowledge with gentleness and respect and inform those so that they are no longer easily swayed by the lies of lobbies.
Define it for me, would you please, sir? What's an assault weapon?
Yeah, Senator, the bill to ban assault weapons is
what is your
dozens of
definition of
pages.
an
There's
assault
no way I could define an assault weapon.
You don't have any. You're going to run this agency, and you don't have a definition of assault weapon.
But I would be enforcing the definition that members
Yeah,
of
but you're
Congress
going to be
passed.
issuing rules and regulations. Just give me your definition.
I'll give you one definition that ATF
Give me your
currently
definition.
uses. One definition that ATF currently
Give me your definition.
I can give you one definition.
If you won't
that
answer
ATF
my
currently
question, how can I vote for you?
As part of Biden's previously announced plan to ban ghost guns, the legislation on the table is calling to redefine what constitutes as a firearm, expanding the definition of receiver to include uppers, incomplete parts kits, and other pieces that definitely aren't guns. The legislation is calling to serialize and regulate anything that can be assembled or converted to a functional state. This is a dangerously ambiguous definition. Ambiguous, poorly written, rushed legislation is bad because enforcement and criminalization depends on the subjective application. When many people are able to come to vastly different conclusions as they read the law, we can all say that that's a poorly written piece of legislation. Good, law-abiding citizens are subject to becoming criminals, all based on how someone feels on applying that law. According to this legislation, a block of metal in a CNC machine in someone's house could be called a firearm. A Glock slide, an AR-15 upper, could be classified as a firearm. An incomplete box of parts could be called a firearm because the definition is saying what is readily converted to a firearm. Stop token legislation. Stop accepting politicians who make a mockery of their position of service by writing dangerously ambiguous laws as a PR stunt, taking advantage of uninformed voters. And we lose our rights in the process. So here's what you can do about this. You can submit your comments to regulations.gov. Now, as you submit your comments, please write professionally, abstain from saying things like, the ATF sucks. Please don't use unprofessional language. Don't use a copied and pasted response. Don't rant. And explain that the word readily is too unclear to be applied in a fair way. Again, submit your comments to www.regulations.gov. We'll keep you updated as more develops.